happening, fellow fantasy GMs? I am JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dove. And with our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
Okay, JJ Wang, enough making up stuff. This is the last Sunday before the NFL draft. Are you ready for all this rookie business to actually matter?
Yeah, it'd be interesting. So then you could actually look at the players for what they're going to be instead of dreaming up dream scenarios that just make you feel all better inside. But I'm glad we could talk about something else.
It'll be nice. Like for me, it's hard. I really struggle with these last months. People are like, well, Jeremiah Love, pretty much everybody thinks he's going to be a Titan. But what if the Titans go another way? Now the world just blew up. We spent all these months going, okay, I'm ready to go. Cam Ward, Jeremiah Love, but we'll have answers. It's no longer, we can now start adjusting. Like if I'm trading a pick thinking, hey, I've got Jeremiah Love at 1, and then something totally wonky goes, Jeremiah Love, for some strange reason, ends up going, I don't know, 11 to Miami. That'd be stupid. Him with A-Chain, that changes everything for both those guys, blows up a couple teams, just something stupid. It's my frustrated part of this time of year. That's why I love free agency. This rookie month block draft me bonkers.
Yeah, but luckily you really haven't heard anybody say Jeremiah Love 2.
No.
I mean, that's usually a good sign as well.
I'm definitely. Well, he's not going to last that long anyway. So really doesn't.
No way. I'm just saying something weird, like something that could totally just like blow up the world.
Like if he went first overall or something.
But speaking of intriguing things that happened, half of this could apply to fantasy, half of this could not. The Giants traded defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence to the Bengals. And the Bengals gave them pick number 10. Dexter Lawrence, if you're just a fantasy guy, was a pretty good up the middle pressure guy. He the only person with more quarterback pressures last year than him was Chris Jones. That's pretty good stinking company. I mean, he's 28, so he's not a spring chicken, all pro over the years. But that's the number 10 pick. And I'm wondering, does that, and then they gave him some big contract up in Cincinnati. Pretty much it'll seal the end of his career more or less. But does that say more about Cincinnati going, hey, we need a defensive lineman. We're ready to win now. So we know this guy can pressure the quarterback, help some of those guys in the division in the AFC. Or does it Cincinnati go, the 10, kind of like we're thinking in fantasy, the 10 pick, I want to get someone who I think is going to contribute right now versus somebody who we're not fond of this draft.
Well, sure. I mean, they just lost Trey Hendrickson, correct, to the Ravens, so they needed a defensive lineman. I don't think they play the same position. I think Lawrence is a tackle, or is he a defensive end? I think Hendrickson was a defensive end.
He was an end, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, at least you still get a dominant player on the line. And honestly, I don't really think it matters. So they had to fix that there, and they needed like a good player that they know can produce. So instead of taking a defensive end and at the 10th pick, where it's up in the air, they just went ahead and got a defensive lineman that they know can work. But I mean, it really doesn't matter. It's the Bengals defense; they're going to suck. So it's irrelevant. Honestly, I think it's irrelevant.
Congratulations, you're the best team on defense.
I mean, I think it's good for the Giants. He wanted to be gone. He's been asking. I think the pick's pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I've been going on for a couple weeks, and it sure was the solution to their problem, I guess. So we're heading into the draft, and there's a lot of defensive guys probably going to go earlier than offense. The first round, we're looking at a handful of receivers. 1, I'm guessing 2, in a miracle world, maybe 3 quarterbacks, 1, maybe 2 running backs. So our big day probably is not going to be the first day of the draft. There's a couple guys there. The biggest day for fantasy is going to be day 2, when a lot of running backs will go round 2, 3. There'll be some receivers. They're saying round 3 for everybody. If you want to pay attention, really pay attention to round 3 of this draft is where a lot of fantasy, experts, air quotes, are saying some of the meat and potatoes of this draft are that there's going to be some sleepers sneaking in there, guys that might have, been injured last year, guys that might have not performed as we expect at the combine, but on the field or put up tape and they're not they're better in pads than they are in shorts. So there could be some surprise sneak up there. So keep your eyes open for the landing spots. I think that's gonna be the focus of our podcast next week, as because rookie drafts will be going on forever, depending upon your league. Starting basically next Monday on, they will be going on forever. But what we're going to do today, right before we get into it, we're going to talk about teams and some of our dream landing spots for them. We might even toss up where we think they'll land, but some dream landing spots for some of these guys. But who are some teams in the draft that really need to hit this the right way to help their teams grow, to because they are lacking in skill position players. Some of these teams that I listed on our sheet here, they're lacking in everything. But who are some teams that you think picking up one of these receivers, grabbing one of these mid-tier running backs, or getting a blocking tight end, or maybe even drafting a quarterback for the future will benefit that team within the next 1 to 3 years, which is a dynasty cycle?
I mean, I think the Commanders really need to do some work here. I mean, they've got Terry McLaurin, correct? Um, so they don't really have much else outside of that. He's getting older. I mean, he's what 29. I feel like he's been in the league. He was older coming into the league, I believe, and I feel like he's been in the league a long time. He's been pretty solid. I feel like he's probably had his best year. Um, so I mean, I feel like they need to get younger at receiver, and I think they still need help at running back. We'll talk about the running back here in a little. But yeah, so I think the Commanders may. I mean, I think the Titans could use some. I think them two teams.
Yeah.
They got young quarterbacks. They need to start figuring out what they're going to do at wide receiver and running back. It's like Tennessee's got Tony Pollard, but I mean, he's just been, I mean, he could.
Last year was his best year. Crazy
Yeah, so, and then wide receiver, it's like zero. So I think they could use some work. I think them two teams are where I would go at the top.
Ironically, the teams I put in there, they need everything, and that was the Dolphins and the Jets. But I'm going to zag to look at the Saints. Your New Orleans Saints. They've got Chris Olave, Tyler Shuck. The end.
Well, they signed Achane too.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They signed, and for those of you that don't know, they signed Trevor Etienne. So they did sign him. Sorry, I did forget about him there. But we're looking. I mean, they have the 8th pick in the first round, and then the 10, and then the 9. So they got high round picks for the first 3 rounds at least. That I'm pretty sure they're going to address receiver there. And then I mean later on in the draft, maybe they get like a little like you go towards the end, get like a big guy to sort of run up the middle to save some of the wear and tear.
I think a tight end would be interesting there too. Ooh,
yeah.
I know they got
Sadiq too. I've heard him pop up, or even Stowers up there.
Is Juwan Johnson still there, or is he someone?
Juwan Johnson's still there. I mean he's.
But I feel like they need another. I feel like another tight end would be interesting, especially if it's like a pass catching, highly drafted type, not highly drafted, but 2nd and 3rd round tight end or something like that. They might be interesting.
I like it. Yeah, it's a tight end. I've forgot about, but yeah, they need. I think if they're going with these guys, let's support them. Let's do it. Like I liked the Tennessee Titans. I'm thinking on the other side of the world, the Los Angeles Rams. The Los Angeles Rams, and I'll hit them a little bit with one of my guys I'm talking about. They're getting a little old. We're looking at Devontae Adams, probably the last year as a Ram. If he doesn't get traded before because they draft somebody. I mean, you're looking at Kyren Williams is great. Blake Corum's there. Maybe they throw a running back in. Their tight ends have always been ho-hum. Do they decide, hey, at 13, we're going to sneak in one of these guys? But they're sort of long in the tooth at injecting some youth in there to go with Puka as he goes through his career would be an intriguing spot.
If he goes through his career.
Yeah, if he gets out of therapy, we'll see what happens. Maybe he
gets
there.
As therapy and just never wants to leave. So I mean,
he's just having so much fun in his little bougie cush job. Another team that people might not think about is the Kansas City Chiefs. They're on that side. Last year was a down year, but the Chiefs have 2 first-round picks, and then they're picking in the upper part of every round. They got Kelsey as basically their best player we know that could play a full season, because Rice, is he going to play a full season worthy? people are mixed. I had a guy, we were talking about a trade yesterday for him, and I have no interest in Worthy. That guy was a Chiefs fan. I'm like, so someone knows something. But they're going to get someone to replace Kelsey. You got Mahomes signed forever. If Mahomes can come back healthy, pretty much anybody you go in there could be a fantasy star. So I think guys will be happy to get taken into that team, which is, I think they're set to be good for another handful of years as long as Mahomes, which I believe he will, it's in today's health world, come back healthy. But give him and they got Kenneth Walker the third there in running back, so they don't have to sit there and try to trade up to see if they can get Love or anything up there. They could go in the second round, third round, take one of these other running backs.
Yeah, they should definitely draft one because there's a good chance Kenny Walker gets hurt at some point. You're going to need a backup. But I don't know who's on there. Who's their running backs right now anyway? Do you know?
It might just be it's him. I don't think Kareem Hunt's still there. I don't think they re-signed him. So it's Kenneth Walker. Yeah, here we go. Dean Ricardo who used to be on the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Chard Smith, the rookie from last year.
Okay.
And some dude named Shanderick Powell.
Okay.
Who is out of Central Arkansas. So all of those signs say we're drafting a complimentary running back for Kenneth Walker III. So keep an eye on that at about 310, maybe 4.9 to go in there. I don't think they'll go with the 2.8 or in the first round.
I mean, I don't see them drafting a running back in the upper part of the draft. I see it more like probably the back end of the draft.
Yeah, for sure. So what we're going to do this week is we're just going to have some fun because if you're listening to this on Friday, this could be obsolete. Probably more likely Saturday. So most people listen to us earlier in the week. But we're going to name a couple guys, and we're going to say somewhere we think would be like our dream landing spot for those dudes. And then we might even throw in, well, we know this is a dream because realistically they might land X as we go through it. So we're going to just go through all the positions, maybe throw in some flex depending upon how time is going there as we're going. So we're going to start with quarterback. And one thing we did try to do, I broke it sort of here at the beginning, but otherwise we tried to go with guys maybe not like the top tier guys. So we're not going to talk about Love today. All signs, realistically, we could be totally wrong, but do you believe Love's going to be a Titan?
I have no idea. I mean, I don't think it. I mean, I probably wouldn't do it. But I don't know. From the people talking, yeah, sure. But I don't think they should.
Yeah, I don't think they should either. But I think Love doesn't make it past 7. If Love's not a Titan because of the trade, I think Love is a Giant.
I'd like to see Love make it to the Commanders. That'd be awesome.
And that's the third team. That's why he doesn't make it past 7. If he doesn't make it past there, pairing Love with, which would kill me and my love of Bill, but putting him in Washington will put a young talent beside Jaden Daniels, although I think they'd be better off grabbing a receiver there. That's neither here nor there. But yeah, so we avoided Love. We know Mendoza's going to go 1. That's pretty much clear cut. They're not changing that. I mean, realistically, we don't know where any of these receivers are going. We know that more than likely 3 of them are in trouble. Well, 2 of them. One of them's going to get a lot of balls from Willis down to Miami. Then the other guy's going to be in the jet.
Slow down, dude. He's not getting a lot of balls from Malik.
Well, there's no one else to throw to. If you're the only, doesn't mean you catch them.
He's not going to throw a lot of balls, so there's not going to be a lot of balls.
But if Willis throws 100 balls, that dude's going to get 85 of them because they're not throwing to anybody else.
Definitely not how that works.
But
not a lot of.
But yeah. It'll be curious how prognosticators go for that receiver. Say at 6, who's it going to be? Is it Tate, the guy that ends up maybe going down to New York with their second pick, unless they go with the guy I'm going to talk about in a moment. The receiver Miami takes early or late. Those are going to be seeing them how high or low they go based upon the lack of talent in Miami and Cleveland at receiver, and Garrett Wilson and Geno Smith in New York. So that'll be an intriguing thing. So the first guy I want to toss out is Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson's a polarizing guy as far as a lot of people have him all over the place. Some people say this dude's a second-round quarterback. Some people say NFL is going to take him higher than we think because he is a quarterback. And I'm going to go that route. I'm going to look at pick number 13 in the first round. I'm going to look at the Los Angeles Rams. Los Angeles Rams are a team that's ready to win now. So pick 13 for them is sort of a luxury. It's a luxury for a team that they're a Super Bowl contender in 2026. So they get a young guy unless they throw in a lineman or something. I don't think they're going to take him, but getting Simpson, a guy who they think could be the heir apparent to Stafford, allows them to do what we used to do with quarterbacks, and I think we should. He's going to learn from Stafford. He's going to see a championship caliber team, and then he's going to roll right in, kind of like pretty much everybody in Green Bay the last 20 years. He's going to roll right into a situation with Puka, with Karen in his later years, Blake Corum as he ascends. Maybe they draft a receiver, some other guys to fill in those holes. And I think it would be a good learning experience. It wouldn't be. It goes against sort of what I said earlier. He won't play this year, but as far as for him, for Dynasty, a stash guy, I think it would be a great situation.
I can't. I mean, I'm not really sure. I think I'd be on the other side of the fence. I think Sean McVay wants to win now, and I don't see him wasting the 13th pick on a future guy when he might not even be there. I mean, he might try to, what if they win the Super Bowl or something, and him and Stafford move on, and I feel like he doesn't really care. They probably won't even have it. They'll probably trade it before the draft comes or during the draft, so they can get a player that can help them now. So I mean, ideally, Sean McVay stays there, but I'm not necessarily sure Sean McVay wants a rookie. I think Sean McVay would want a veteran. So I think I think he would probably trade the 13th pick for like a veteran quarterback that's kind of like in the middle of their career that kind of already knows how to play football so that he can continue to win now. I think Simpson's a big gamble. Like you don't even know if you'd ever be able to win with Simpson. I'm not sure Sean McVay wants that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the fantasy community falls, no matter where he goes. Like if
Sure.
I had to guess, Simpson's a Jet in my brain. A Jet or a Cardinal is where I have him.
Yeah, I think it's a terrible idea either way.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm gonna go Drew Aller here. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of any of these guys, but I think Drew Aller's big. He's strong, got a big arm. I mean, semi-mobile for a big guy. So I think if Aller is probably not ready to start now, but maybe if he went to Pittsburgh,
Ooh, I like
set
it.
behind like Aaron Rodgers for you. I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is going to teach him anything, or do you really want to learn anything from Aaron Rodgers? So maybe you could just sit in the quarterback room and you could just see how things run and not really talk to Aaron Rodgers a whole lot because you don't want to be polluted with the mind of Aaron Rodgers. But I I think a fresh start in Pittsburgh. They got a new coach. Give Aaron Rodgers just one more year because they need it. They don't have a quarterback. But I think if they draft Drew Aller, let him sit for a year, and then get plenty of reps with the practice squad and a big off season where he can compete for the starting job. I think Drew Aller in Pittsburgh. What I like it.
I think you could throw a bunch of guys in that one. Like Drew Aller, you like because of size.
I
He's
mean,
the one
all of
that
them, but I just like Drew Aller better. So it doesn't really matter.
I like I like no the kid out of LSU. Nussmeyer. Yeah, they'd be interesting, but I think any of those within that little bubble, and I'll hit one later on. There's a couple of teams that just there's some teams they'll fall to. You're like, okay, they're the backup for a while. That you're really stashing them, but you're looking. I mean, what about some dude who goes to Seattle? Darnold was okay-ish. He got some money, but there's no guarantee that I mean, teams will zag in a heartbeat. So they might be like, "Hey, Darnold, we took care of him. He got us the ring, sort of. But if you look at what Darnold did last year, it wasn't
I mean, they
anything.
won a Super Bowl.
He win a Super Bowl? I
I mean,
mean,
he
look
was the
at
start. I mean, he's the starting.
the
He was
defense
the
won a Super
he
Bowl.
was the starting quarterback. It's the most important position in sports, and
But so did Trent Dilfer.
he won a Super Bowl.
So did Brad Johnson.
True,
You know,
but I mean, they had like all-time legend defenses too, so that helped too. But I mean, but Sam Darnold, I mean, he was the starting quarterback for a Super Bowl champion that didn't win because their defense was all time great. Um, so and he's had back to back successful good seasons. He had a really good statistical season with Minnesota. Then he wins the Super Bowl. Sure, I mean it's Sam Darnold. He could definitely tail off and be gone. I am definitely not saying that. But I like Sam Darnold. I'm not wishing for his downfall. So I think Sam Darnold's got another good 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, you got me on the train. So I'm gonna pay attention to them out of curiosity.
I mean, look, I know it's a different team, but look how many years they gave Gino after his one good season. He had like another 2 or 3 like downward seasons before that. I know it's
Well,
different.
that was stubborn Pete Carroll too.
Yeah. I know it's different situation, but I mean, it's still the same owner and everything. So I mean, if the coaches kind of like him, I mean, he did win him a Super Bowl. So I mean, I think they owe him a little bit here.
Yeah, well, the
But
guy that won in the Super Bowl, he plays for Kansas City.
It is the NFL. If you play bad, you're going to be gone in a second. That is also
It's so frustrating at times.
That is also
Okay, who's your running back? Where do you think he's going to go?
my running
Or where
back
would be the dream place?
is Mike Washington Jr. out of Arkansas, the athletic freak. There are probably running backs that are better than him in the draft, sure, but this guy just is my favorite. He's big, he's athletic, he's fast, and I think if he ends up with the Commanders, I'm not saying I mean in the third or fourth round if he goes there. I'm not saying I'm a Commanders fan. I'm not. But I like the guy and he's closer, so I can hear more about him. So I mean that would be a positive too. So and they need a running back. I think he's way better than Bill or Bob or whatever we call him. Um, Austin Eckler is always injured, so you're going to get run time if you're on the same team as Austin Eckler because he's always hurt. So I think Mike Washington Jr. to the Commanders would work well in that offense. They say they get a receiver early and pick up Washington late. I think that sets up the good offense. Yeah, I like that.
All right. I'll throw a guy out to Washington. I threw a couple guys. Like I could see them going local with Jamari Taylor was who I wrote down. But then I thought about Desmond Claiborne for the Commanders because he's fast. They signed Rashad White, but
he is fast.
I don't like Rashad White.
Did they resign? I didn't know. I didn't know that. Well, to be fair, that's not going to change my opinion with anything ever. So I mean, I still want to see I think Mike Washington's way cooler than Rashad White. So
yeah, oh no, I like anybody going there. Sadly, for the team, for me personally, because I love Bill, I don't want anybody to go there. But putting Rashad White makes me feel good about Bill because I've not been a Rashad White fan, but I'm just looking at different kinds of speed. Like Claiborne, I was looking at Claiborne. He's a smaller speed guy to go in there to complement sort of a bruiser. Mike Washington, I love. I'm with you on the Washington train. I think of the guys in the draft because I don't have any number one picks, so I want it, but I like him the best. I like for the same reasons you're talking about him, the size, the speed, everything about him sounds great. And I'm scared to death because I just traded for a gamble dart throw kind of thing for Charbonnet. I think he goes to Seattle. I think he ends up becoming Seattle's.
that's fine too. I mean,
I just that's right. That's where I think he ends. But
I mean, I'd be happy.
Like
I'd be happy with that too. I just want him closer to home. So.
Yeah, he won't be close on that. But yeah, Seattle's my fear for him. He goes anywhere else, I'm like, cool. Anybody else goes to Seattle, I'm like, cool. You're in they're giving Charbonnet a little change unless they go with him early on. I'm going to throw out Nicholas Singleton, speed guy out of 6', 219, 439, 40 out of Penn State, throwing him down at Houston. I love that situation. It's not great for Montgomery. They paid Montgomery, but it gives him another fast guy beside him. Montgomery's not a spring chicken. They say they're going to give him the opportunity to do it, but in today's NFL, that's just foolish, especially for 29, 20. He's an older running back. To give him all the top, throw this in, you got him on a rookie contract going through there. You got complimentary running backs to support. A lot of people think he could be a 3-down back, so let him learn under Montgomery this year. Compliment him. I think we're 2 or 3 years. Sorry, guys, but those are poison pills. They're make believe contracts, but put him down there in that team. Put those two. You got a great speed and power back right there to off day one. I have no clue where I think he's going to go. But
yeah, I mean, I don't really mind that now that you say it. I don't think it hurts David Montgomery at all. I think David Montgomery is still going to get his. I'm not really sure. David Montgomery is not going to be like a true workhorse running back. I'm not expecting that out of David Montgomery. David Montgomery to just do what David Montgomery does, just be like a pretty good running back you can trust. And Singleton can just slide in, and fill in for David Montgomery when he gets injured, because that's probably going to happen too. And if Singleton plays good enough, I mean, you can always get rid of Montgomery next year. I'm sure it's couldn't be the money can't be that much of a hassle. But they're running backs. I mean, there's always going to be two of them, unless there's the very few that are true
The big two.
But I mean, it's not like there's a whole lot. So majority of the teams are going to have dual running backs, and you got to deal with it. And I don't think it really hurts David Montgomery at all. So that's a pretty good spot.
And I don't think and I think Love could be in. There's going to be someone complimenting Love because he was a complimentary running back in college. And I think Montgomery's floor, what, 800 yards, 10 touchdowns? Would that be sort of much we figure out? That's a Montgomery floor.
I can see. I can see him getting a lot. If the team's good, he's going to get a lot of touchdowns. I mean, if C.J. Stroud can not turn the ball over and be decent, and that offensive line can hold them, is asking for a lot. Don't get me wrong. I understand that. I'm looking at a perfect world here. I think David Montgomery might not be the big yardage guy, but I think he could be a big touchdown guy.
And I liked him because I changed my screens here, but I liked him, and it was more. It also fell into where their picks were, because the running backs usually fall second, third, so he's up there as a running back people are interested in. So he could be in they got the 3-5. They have 2 picks in the second, so they could get someone even higher as well.
So if we're still before we move on off running backs, what do you think about a running back going to Minnesota?
Oh, I think it would be good for the team. For the running back, it would be mid because Kyler will run. But I think that's a team we could have mentioned the skill positions, because they need another because I think Addison's gone in the year, so maybe a young receiver and a running back that would be spectacular. Because they're still just rocking old man Jones,
Aaron Jones, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure.
I'm going to pull up there, but yeah, that's a good pull there.
I mean, I think maybe a tight end. If they got a tight end later, but so they could probably use all the fantasy football positions.
They got Jones and Mason. I mean, it depends on some people think Hawk still has something getting for tight end, but
how long are they going to think that?
As long as they think about Kyle Pitts.
It's been a while, correct?
Is Hawkinson the Northern Kyle Pitts? I mean, realistically, he had a good season. Kyle Pitts last year had all of his points in 3 games.
Sure.
2 games, 1 game.
So, I mean, Hawkinson
I wouldn't be against it.
Hawkinson just had the one good season. Is that correct?
I'd say more or less. Then he had a couple.
He tore his ACL or something. Ever since he's tore his ACL, he's been buns, as my daughter would say.
I mean, dude, Hawkinson's been around. He's never cracked 1,000 yards. And what we mean by one good season is he in 23 he had 95 receptions, 960 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So he's never been a touchdown guy, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. So and 22 is the year we're thinking of. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the stats because they're split when he got traded. So he had 1,409 touchdowns. So, no, that's not right. That can't be right.
Man, get your act together, dude.
In 16 games, he had 914 and 6 touchdowns that year. That was the year he was traded. So it's split up kind of wonky donkey there.
Gotcha.
I dig this. I think a running back would be a great move for the Vikings. The Vikings, dude, they are set up. They have the 18th and 33 pick in the 3rd round. So we would be looking. That would allow them to not have to spend a high pick, because that's where some of the meat of the running back. So I mean, maybe they show up with like a Katron Allen. Maybe they get a McGowan, the big kid out of Kentucky. There's the kid out of Indiana. I mean, he'll be later. I think he's like that. Represent running back 12, so years down the road. Maybe Emmett Johnson. I mean, when's the next running back going to go? Are they going to do like 3 in the second, or maybe Singleton's there?
Maybe
at that point. So jumping into receivers, we talked about Tennessee Titan being the team that needed receivers. So as I changed all my screens and all my stuff here, I was looking at Mr. Chris Bell out of Louisville.
Ooh, yeah.
Louisville, 222, 6'2". I like thicker receivers, which would give Cam Ward some targets. And I think they're going to draft. I think honestly, they're going to. You're going to see the Titans draft a fantasy team this year. They're going with that new strategy a couple teams have tried where we got Cam Ward. Cam Ward showed something there at the end. We're going to give him some weapons. I think they got Wandell. They paid Wandell. I think DK is going to be there. So they got two sort of slottish kind of receivers. People think A Minor can be something, and now they need a big guy, and he's up there. I mean, Denzel Boston would be perfect, but they're not really sitting in a spot for him. But to get someone that they can throw up a little bit with him in the end zone as they're going through. But I like Bell to Tennessee. I like pretty much anybody to Tennessee because, but the problem is that pretty much dooms all the Wandell owners because Wandell usually is really good when there's nobody there. So Bell to Tennessee.
I like Chris Bell, so I mean, wherever he goes, I mean, I'll be enjoying it. But he's he's a pretty big dude, so yeah.
And I'm looking. They're going to draft receiver. I think their receiver will be the 2.3. More than likely, will be my guess.
And so I'm gonna go with to the Patriots. I'm gonna give them a wide receiver now. According to Diana Rossini, that AJ Brown is going to be a Patriot because she's got all the inside information to deal with the Patriots. So AJ Brown might go to the Patriots eventually. But even if that does happen, I'm gonna go with like the big, tall, fast guy, Chris Brazzell out of Tennessee, to going to the Patriots. Just give him a big outside threat that Drake May can just launch the ball deep and he can just run straight. Go down and get it, like a la maybe someone like George Pickens. George Pickens is better, of course, but in that kind of in that kind of molds, I think that kind of receiver in New England is kind of what they need. They need like a field stretcher. They don't really have that. I mean, they just they got Matt Collins. Matt Collins can stretch the field like once every 5 games. So you need more consistency, and maybe like you said, a tight end in New England. Now looking at it, probably wouldn't be a bad idea either.
I like that pick, especially because he'll beat, and that's almost it's a high possibility too, because they got all the 31s down the board. I don't think they even have. In the 4th round, they got an extra one, and in the 6th round, they got some bonus picks. But yeah, they got a lot of 6th round picks, but those are useless. But at the end of the 1st round, he could definitely be sitting there. That's a total possibility, and it would be intriguing. Say they take him, maybe they decide they don't want to give the ranch for AJ Brown because the tea leaves are saying that AJ Brown goes there when they're waiting till June because it'll save some money and blah 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 and all that kind of NFL make believe stuff. But maybe they go, hey, we like this kid, we're gonna put our eggs somewhere else. We went to the Super Bowl with this team. Do we really want to deal with the AJ Brown headache to get over, or the AJ Brown for sake of lack of consistency because he's the best, most frustrating receiver in football per se? So I dig that pick. I mean, jumping into tight ends, your tight end is it's gonna be an intriguing play for him. I wish y'all could see the board. He wrote. We haven't sorted. It's like player name and team you think they're gonna go to. His player's name was what's his name? Is that a French name? Who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
And the team is not me.
So I thought
yeah,
it was funny.
So my tight end is it's still, I'm on board. I don't care where he is. Somehow I'm getting this guy on one of my teams, and that's the monster. The monster Sam Roush. I've talked about him all year long. But really, you could put a blank there and say insert name, guy that goes to Kansas City. And so I would love him in Kansas City. I would love Stowers in Kansas City. I'd love Clarence in Kansas City. I'd love Trigg, Jolly, any of these guys down the way. Someone to Kansas City, because Kelsey's coming back, and this could be the swan song. Maybe he learned something. That's my hope. It's sort of the reasoning behind it. And then Mahomes likes tight ends. I mean, he's even made a couple weeks like the Grays. You got a couple of odd tight end guys that pop every now and then throughout the season. So he likes to throw to the tight ends mainly because, well, his main receiver is suspended half the time or isn't a very good pro football player. So I kind of dig that pick there. we've mentioned a couple teams. Who are other like teams that need that kind of, because realistically, a lot of times when we're talking about the move tight end, the guys that will be able to catch, like Roush, he can make his hay this year blocking, and then in the future work his way up. And because if you're a good blocker, you're going to get some play time. What are teams that would be benefited from a good tight end?
I thought maybe the 49ers. George Kittle's out. I know they got that one. What's the guy's name that performed?
Tongus.
Yeah, Tongus. So he
Jake-
performed really well, but is he like a full time, tight end one? So that's questionable. I thought there. Chiefs was a good call. I think maybe the Ravens. They use a lot of tight ends. I know they signed Mark Andrews to an extension, but he's older now. He hasn't been as good. And they got rid of Isaiah Likely, so I think the tight end there would be interesting. Maybe not this season. Maybe in the next year, the season.
Tight ends are 3 years.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's kind of interesting. I think we mentioned earlier. I think the Saints getting a tight end would be interesting, and I'm not sure if we mentioned it earlier. The Titans needing a tight end. Did we say that earlier?
I think we did. It was in my brain, so I thought you just said it before. So I like
so
that one.
I think the Titans need a tight end. And looking at that, I mean, I think that's. I mean, if a tight end went to the Commanders, I think that would be interesting. I know they got Chig, right? I understand they got Chig, but is Chig really good? We hope so. I think maybe a tight end there might be interesting too. But they
I like also Carolina.
Do they still got Sanat from the other year? Do they still have him?
I believe so. I'm not going to guarantee. I believe they kept it, even though
I think that's my team of tight ends. Yeah, that would be interesting.
I'm going to even throw out the Carolina Panthers as an option.
That is an option. They drafted that guy last year. That I think they might.
Fabian Sanders. Oh, they got the 2 years ago it was yeah.
So I think they could use other things. Well, like I said, late in the draft, I don't think it would really matter. But yeah, I think they should still give him a shot.
Yeah, Sanders might get a shot. See where he goes, but it'll be curious to see in this week like who the guys are that just.
And the Vikings.
You got one?
Because TJ Hawkins.
The Vikings. Do you want to reiterate that?
Sucks. Yeah, just so you know.
Yeah, Hawkinson sucks. So it's gonna be Pittsburgh. Oh, they got big boy Washington.
I was going to say Pittsburgh, but they've just been drafting tight ends lately just for
terrible
for no reason. So maybe if it's a regular tight end and not one of these big giant guys that can't do anything.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is some of these teams need tight ends, but they're not useful to us with our show. Washington's great for Pittsburgh because they like to run. He's a blocker. He's never going to be your Travis Kelce, George Kittle, those guys, but he's going to be great for the team as they're going on. So I got one last guy. I know you like him coming out, and I'm going to throw him up to a team because I would not be surprised if some team moves into the late first round to draft a quarterback. And that team that I believe is going to do it is going to be Arizona because right now you got Brissett who's mad because actually Gardner Minshew is going to make as much money as Brissett to be the backup quarterback down in Arizona. So Brissett's sort of not showing up. And we're looking at the.
Brissett think he is?
He thinks he is the guy that got Kyler Murray traded. And he doesn't know that he's the guy that plays 5 good games and then flops.
Kyler Murray was going to get traded either way. It really didn't matter.
So, yes, I see. I mean, we're looking there. We're looking probably the range of Kansas City, Miami, New England, and Seattle. They're at the end of the first round. Miami's supposedly wanting to trade back and just get more and more and more picks. They just want to put warm bodies in seats is what they're trying to do. So any of those 4 picks and moving up into the first round, I could see, we're looking at and I'm going with the Cardinals. I think whoever goes to the Jets, I'm just done with them. But I'm going to go with your boy, 87-year-old Carson Beck, who I'm still amazed at how big this dude is. Like, it just cracks me up.
So
like, we're looking at guys.
I didn't think you were.
I didn't like him last week.
But yeah, I say you didn't like him last week, and now you got him as a first-round quarterback. The world would happen, dude.
Just because I don't like him doesn't mean I don't believe he could go to the first round. So I was putting someone in Arizona at the late first round. I talked about the kid from LSU last year being a good fit. This week I was going to go with your guy. So put Beck there. Put Beck in Arizona. I bet you if they do that, he starts this year,
Well,
like
he might get it.
September.
He might get a chance. Yeah, absolutely. Do you think it's necessary to draft up into the back of the first to get him?
Yes, not because of necessary for him to slip and them not
Maybe
get
the
him.
fifth year option.
Fifth year option is 100% why I think that trade happened. So they go up because Arizona, what's the second round? I got their stuff. They have the 2.2. So they're going to give away the 2.2. They're going to give away, let's see, they're going to give away maybe their 4.4. So say they go with New England, they're going to have to, they might even, the 2.2, then they do a third round. Say it's Miami. So they're going up to the fourth pick from the end of the draft, the 30th pick. So they give the 2.2. They swap third round picks, give them the 3.1, and swap some picks around. And then they have a fifth year option on their quarterback, whoever it is, whether it's whichever one of those quarterbacks. If Simpson is sitting there, then they're going to do it for sure, and they'll give up a little more. One of these other guys. I mean, even down to your boy from Penn State. I mean, he's not as big as Carson Beck, and he's a little slower, but that fifth year option has extreme value, especially in the 50 million. I mean, Willis is making $30 million.
He's got a bigger arm than Carson Beck.
So it's, yeah.
I like Carson Beck,
So
I'd be all right. I'd be all right for that.
like, I'm on board with whoever Arizona drafts as their heir apparent quarterback because I think my gut still tells me Harrison is going to be a good player. I know it. And I love Michael Wilson and then Trey McBride. And then, Tyler Algier, I wrote an article. He'll be RB1 by October. So you put those five and then build around. Ooh, could be good. Okay, JJ Wang. Those are our picks, guys. It'll be interesting to see who hits and who doesn't hit. So next week we're going to talk about great landing spots where guys hit, and who we think is going to be great for our fantasy as you're going into rookie drafts. Give us some words of wisdom as we peace out here, bro.
Words of wisdom. WrestleMania weekend. I really haven't watched wrestling in a while. I'm not gonna lie. I do keep up with it though. I will watch highlights. I'll read articles just in case something kind of like brings me back in, but they have failed to do so yet. It was night one. I haven't heard really any good things. It's been a pretty crappy. This has been like the worst WrestleMania of all times. The way just the build up and just everything is panned out. So I'm just asked, did you watch night one at all?
I had it on my phone. I was watching it from Poland on VPN. So I was watching it, and yeah, I mean, when the biggest pop of the night is Bianca Belair being pregnant, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
I thought there'd be more to the Cody Randy thing than Randy just kicking Cody's head off. So is Cody going to do promo stuff for Street Fighter and just let the belt be invisible? I don't know, but it was what it was.
Yeah, I heard that the Gunther match was really good, and
that was really good. The ending sucked. But
the questionable thing that I had was them having an unsanctioned match on ESPN2. So that was one of the. I mean, that's a pretty violent match. I don't know how you can have a violent match on TV.
WWE violent is not.
Well, I get it, but it's the making sense of it all. You're not going to show super violent stuff, which an unsanctioned match is on like ESPN2. Unsanctioned should be like you should have to pay for that. I mean, that should be really really violent. So I thought that was questionable. But yeah, not any really good things. I mean, I'm not surprised. So down with WWE. It doesn't really matter to me at this point. So as always, trust yourself and trust the process.